PSLF, that's Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, started by George W. Bush in 2007, created under the College Cost Reduction and Access Act for professionals who work in the governmental sector, who work in a public service sector, such as police officers, firefighters, teachers, lawyers, as well as those who work in nonprofit organizations. This was a type of act that George W. Bush enacted in 2007 to provide indebted professionals a way out of their federal student loan by working full-time. Public service loan forgiveness actually was a good product that Congress had passed for college goers and student loan holders. They understood that sometimes over the course of time, it takes time to pay off debt. And so they decided to pass this law. So the program permits direct loan borrowers who make 120 qualifying monthly payments, that's 10 years approximately, under their repayment plan that they had given. While working full-time, employer has to be a qualifying employer. And then the end product of that will be the remainder of your loan balance being forgiven. Now, the earliest time in which borrowers could receive forgiveness under that program began in 2017, obviously because 10 years had to pass. The Department of Education reported that 2,215 borrowers had the remainder of their prospective student loans forgiven under the program as of April 30th, 2020. And that actually is a very low number, which indicated that 98.5% of people were denied under this for whatever reason. Since then, thousands upon thousands of borrowers have applied for the PSLF, including myself. I have combined with private loans plus my federal subsidized and unsubsidized loans, this equals up to over $200,000 worth of student loan debt. And I have applied for PSLF. Obviously, private loans are not a part of this particular program. Now, with all of that being said, after 2020 and even prior to, thousands upon thousands of borrowers have applied for the PSLF, including myself. The failure and denial rate is very high, but that does not mean that you could get your loans paid for. Unfortunately, as Donald Trump has entered into the office, PSLF has definitely gotten into a backlog simply because he has stuck his hands in the U.S. Department of Education in so many different ways where loans have been transferred, loans have been consolidated, and many things have happened with our loans in which the backlog of the PSLF program where people should have their loans forgiven, they have not gotten their loans forgiven simply because of that backlog. And in the backlog, there are over 88,000 borrowers that need their loans forgiven, but the PSLF people who are under StudentAid.gov are not being able to pay off these particular loans or approve it because of what Donald Trump has been doing in the White House. We have programs such as the SAVE Act, which also was a part of George W. Bush, in which people who have high student loan debt, they're able to do the income-based repayment plan where their loans are having to be paid for based off of the amount of income you have, which was a great lifesaver. And also with that, Donald Trump has decided to pause it. And so a lot of student loan borrowers have been just waiting in the wind for their PSLF to be paid for. And so in order to qualify for PSLF, I myself had to abide by the rules, in which these were the rules. You have to take all of your individualized loans, consolidate them, and then it will go into a loan servicer. My loan servicer, along with everyone else's at this point, it used to be Nailnet, Navient, and all of those different services. Sally Mae, who is now gone, it has now combined into one loan, which Mohila now takes care of that. And so Mohila took care of it for a while, and then all of a sudden, it ended up being transferred over. All of my loans, along with thousands upon thousands of people's loans, been transferred over to StudentAid.gov. That particular process took a very long time. I'm talking 6 months of just transferring different files. It was a very sticky process because we were waiting. There was a lot of waiting going on, and some people who were due for their PSLF to be paid for, it couldn't because the loans were being transferred. Now I am at the 120 month mark, and I'm waiting for my loans to be paid for. And so unfortunately, because of that backlog, my loans should have been forgiven back in 2024 because that was my 10-year mark. Now I'm going to show you what the loans look like in StudentAid.gov, where they actually keep count of the amount of payments that you have made over the course of the 120 months. You also have to ensure that you are still with a qualifying employer. And so the employer has to fill out a loan application, and then we submit that over to StudentAid.gov, and then they review it, and then they say, okay, you have this many payments that you've paid for. You have to keep submitting this particular form on a regular basis, maybe once a year, maybe twice a year if you want to do that as well. But as that's happening, the loan servicer should be keeping up with those payments, but the issue is they have not been keeping up with those payments. When I show you mine, you'll see that it's still at 115, although my loan should have been paid off back in 2024 via PSLF. So we're going to go over to my computer and look at what these payments look like. Okay, as you can see, I'm on StudentAid.gov, and here we can see that my direct loan servicing is paid in full. This was the consolidation, so to speak. And so you can see it here, consolidation from Navient, and then you can see all the individualized loan, Nailnet. I'm sorry, not Navient, that's my private loans. Navient, Nailnet, Nailnet loans, here it is. And so these were all of the individualized loans that I had just over the course of my college tenure. There they are, different, paid off, different types, subsidized, unsubsidized, and then we move up. And as you can see, like I told you, I'm on the income-based repayment plan there. Now it's fully consolidated, paid in full here. And so now here we are. This says 100% paid, okay? Now we're going to go up, and I'm going to go to, there's the total amount right here. And again, this is just my government loans, not including my private loans, which those will not be included. But Mohila holds my private loans as well. Now, this is what I was talking about with PSLF. It should be at 120 right now. I should have had my loans paid for back in 2024. I have been calling StudentAid. At first, it was Mohila who had me at 115. Then, like I said, once it went over to StudentAid.gov, this is what ended up happening. And I had already submitted all the qualifying employer paperwork as possible, and for some reason the counts just still are behind. And so I was told that they are behind on counts, they are behind on everything. And so this is what it looks like. I should be at 120, but unfortunately I am not. And so it's just been sitting. I'm gonna call them again and see what's going on, because this is just out of hand. Again, loan amount there, $199,672.11, which is because of interest accrual over the course of the years and the course of the time. So that's my student loans in a nutshell. These are the public service loan forgiveness forms that I have been submitting. So this is what I was talking about. You have to do this. As you can see, I've done 22, 23, 24, 25. This is when I consolidated in 22, 23, 24, 25. And my last one was in May of last year of 2025. So just to be on the safe side, I'll go ahead and submit another one so that they can go ahead and add in these, the remainder 5 qualifying payments. Like, it's just been so long. So I did not introduce myself in the beginning. Once again, I'm Tia. The company that I am CEO over is RiseRelief. This is a student loan debt relief organization in which we utilize crowdfunding to help one another pay off our student loans. There should be absolutely no reason as to why all of us who are in a student loan crisis with burdensome student loans are dealing with what we're dealing with. We should all be debt free. We should not all be dealing with an economy that has risen over the course of the time, and our payments have not risen as far as our salaries are concerned. Wages have not risen. So I decided to start this company for people like you and I, so that we can come together, help one another, pay off each other's student loan debt. Please stay tuned, because I am building a website. I am building a team of people, and we're going to do this thing together so that we can become student loan free.